Welcome back to the Delaware Way. If you are a consumer of Delmarva energy, either natural gas or electricity, you may be in line for a rate increase. That is being debated right now in Dover. Here to talk more about it is Drew Slater, the Delaware Public Advocate. Thank you, sir, for being here. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Before we get into the rate increase, explain to everybody what you do.
Yeah, so the vision of the Public Advocate, we advocate for the lowest reasonable utility rates for residential and small commercial customers, but that's also consistent with the maintenance of adequate utility service. So a lot of that has to do with rate increases and where we are with rates. So any utility can come in and ask for a rate increase.
How many customers does Delmarva have in Delaware?
In total, they have about 315,000. They're the largest utility in the state, which is why we spend so much time talking about them.
Now, they're owned by Exelon, which is in Chicago. Who do you negotiate with?
So you negotiate with your local Delmarva utility. Exelon is the head of the utility, but you deal with Delmarva and your local representatives here.
So the process is they have to come to you with a rate increase?
Yeah, so they file with the Public Service Commission, and then the commission staff receives the filing, and then the Division of the Public Advocate intervenes, as well as other parties like Representative Kowalko and DENREC and the Delaware Energy Users Group.
If you say no, do they get the rate increase?
So they're certainly welcome to have some amount, right, in their delivery charge that could be increased. Usually it's not the total amount, but they do have costs that they've incurred to upgrade facilities that we have to take into account.
I guess what I'm trying to do is back up and see what the exact process is. So they have to come to the commission, they have to come to you, they have to come to the people involved with proof that they need more money.
Yes.
And they have to give reasons why they need more money.
Yep.
And didn't they just get a rate increase?
They did. They got a rate increase. The rates went into effect June 1st, and then they filed in August. Yeah.
So isn't that a difficult argument if you just gave them a rate increase for them to come back to you and say, we need another one and here's why?
Yeah, it is a little uncommon, but it has happened in the past. So typically they do a historical test year, which is the year previous. And so in this case, they're doing something a little different, which is that they do a 6-month historical look and then a 6-month projected look.
So how much was the last rate increase that they got this summer?
The electric, so there was electric and gas, just as this one. The electric was $31.5 million is what they received. They asked for 62. In the natural gas, I think they asked for 22 million, and they received. Which
is about how much for each homeowner?
So for each homeowner, it's about $4.5.
$4.5 a month?
Yeah.
And now they've come back to you and they want another rate increase. How much would that cost?
So in total, between electric and natural gas, it could cost about $9. I think the residential side could cost between $4 to $5.5.
And how many $1 million is that they want extra other than the rate increase they just got?
Yeah, so they're asking for $24.4 million extra. They did have an additional filing, which is another $6.8 million, and then the Public Service Commission staff and the Division of the Public Advocate just filed a motion to dismiss the entire case because of the large increase.
You've come to the decision already that they get a rate increase. The only debate is how much.
Yeah, there'll be some sort of a rate increase. The commission will provide some sort of a rate increase because they have had reasonable costs. It's just now what are the reasonable costs to provide adequate utility service.
But if they're already asking for more money than you thought they were asking for in the first place, there is nothing, since they just got a rate increase, to prevent them from coming again in a couple of months and ask for yet another rate increase.
Yeah, I mean, they could come back in a couple of months and after this rate increase and file another rate increase. But all of that has to be looked at, and it's heavily scrutinized because there's this open, transparent rate case proceeding, and so it's heavily scrutinized. All their books are open. I have a box in my office that's 1.5 feet tall of all their all the documents, and so it's really the best way to look at all of their financials.
Since everything is on hold right now, when should homeowners expect this rate increase to take place?
I would expect this rate increase to take place, maybe in May. Maybe in May.
Any guess on how big it'll be?
I really don't have a guess right now. In the last electric case, they got about half of it. In the last gas case, that was probably a record. They received about 22% of their ask, which is lower than what it typically is. There's really not a guess right now, and a lot of it depends on what the Public Service Commission decides with their additional filing.
Are there more public hearings on this? Can people voice their concerns?
Yeah, so I'm glad you asked that. So there's a public notice. We just had 3 public comment sessions. We actually tried to sponsor it on Facebook to get more people involved. You can write to the commission through the Public Service Commission website. You can attend public comment sessions, but they really need it, written down. And we would absolutely encourage more people to take part in the process. Every 2 weeks, the commission has a hearing. We want more public comment, not only in the commission meetings, but also with these rate increases.
Wonderful. Thank you, sir.
Thank you
for
very
coming
much.
in. Please
Thank you
come
for the
back
opportunity.
when you get closer to a decision on the rate increase.
Absolutely.
Drew Slater is the Delaware public advocate. When we come back, fighting cancer in Delaware, some people just don't have the resources. Now there's a new partnership that will help offset some of that cost. We'll tell you about it when the Delaware Way continues.